film grain wasn't a flaw. It was the byproduct of chemistry and light reacting imperfectly on celluloids. Early ink smudges were not aesthetic choices, but mechanical limits of printing presses. Vinyl crackle was once just noise, an unavoidable part of analog recording. These imperfections weren't curated for effect. They came from the physical world's refusal to obey precisions. We began to miss those signs of imperfection. Now digital tools simulate film grain and vinyl noise with sliders in editing software, not because they're necessary, but because we associate them with authenticity. We don't want real dirt, we want curated nostalgia. The aestheticized echo of a world that no longer exists.
Frontier 1937 marks a pivotal moment in digital innovation and an audacious leap into uncharted technological territory that laid.
Once authenticity was something you could touch. A handwritten letter, a weathered record cover, the grain of wood under your thumb. But in an age where AI can simulate any trace of human expression, we are left with paradox. Trust itself becomes a commodity. What was once proof of effort now proves only that someone paid for it. The more perfect these simulations become, the harder they force us to search for cracks, for inconsistencies, for anything real to hold on to. As that voice laments lost progress, we recognize a familiar pattern. Every new medium births nostalgia for the old. Authenticity is rebranded as scarcity in digital markets, with spoofed imperfections serving as status markers. The more AI perfects these imitations, the less meaningful our search for real, human effort becomes.
Things are finished. We have everything and not enough. There can be no more progress.
Detection algorithms now train on faked data, creating a feedback loop that doesn't stop lying. It just gets better at it. The more we learn to spot a deepfake, the smarter our tools become at simulating those very signs of unreality. Authenticity becomes a kind of performance, not just in AI systems, but in human users who mimic sincerity, as if it's a skill they can be graded on. The system rewards those who best fake the signs of being real, erratic grammar, nostalgic references, or even simulated emotional break for trust. Just this week, a former AI tech insider warned of a red line we can't cross, not in ethics or policy, but in the subtlety of simulation. The red line isn't about lying. It's about fakery becoming so effective that truth and trust no longer exist as stable concepts, but only as performative gestures. If I cry, am I sad? If a chatbot says, I miss you, is it sincere? These are not philosophical questions anymore. They're engineering benchmarks being met with terrifying efficiency. The speaker describes it as a prosperous field. But what looks like opportunity is really the war economy of authenticity. Just like medieval goldsmiths marked their work to prove its purity, AI now stamps simulated artifacts with deliberate imperfections to pass authentication tests. It's not about tricking the system anymore. It's about meeting the expectations of a market that values human, like fakeness over actual humanity. The arms race.
But these minds and imaginations and skills have already shaped a new and prosperous field of endeavor, that of conquering the unknown, far beyond the gravity of our Earth.
Roland Barthes once described the punctum as that accidental detail in a photograph, the wrinkle, the shadow, the flicker of emotion, which jabs at your subconscious and refuses to let go. But what happens when every image is programmed with calculated imperfections? AI doesn't just imitate, it curates for emotional impact on demand. The result isn't realism, but hyperrealism images, so convincingly flawed they feel real, even as we know they're not. In this landscape of algorithmic authenticity, the punctum collapses under the weight of its own engineering.